Welcome to another thrilling edition of Steve Does GIS. In this little tool tutorial, I'll be showing you how to use the Raster calculator. The Raster calculator is in the toolbox under Spatial Analysis Tools, under Map Algebra, and you'll find it there as Raster calculator tool. And we'll just open that up. Now we can see it just looks like a desktop calculator, or the calculator in Windows. It's got a number keypad and some mathematical operators, but it also has this window here on the left, which has layers and variables, and it will echo the layers that you have open in your layer window. So you can see I have my digital elevation model and my slope layers in my layers window. Over here on the far right, you can also see a series of functions. There's some conditional functions there. We'll be using set null in a minute, and then some mathematical functions, so you can calculate exponents, logarithms, powers, square roots, etc. There's trigonometric functions also, so a range of trig functions. One thing to note there is that ArcGIS does its trig in radians, so you must always convert any inputs in degrees into radians before you use those. And there are some logical functions as well. Okay, let's do some math with the Raster calculator. Now, I'm going to simply double-click on one of my inputs. You can see it goes into the expression box, and here the DEM, the digital elevation model, the vertical units are in meters, and let's say we want to convert those to feet. So we can use multiply. 3.281 is the number of feet per meter. We specify an output, so I'm going to say DEM in feet. Click OK, and that will simply go off and do the mathematics. That's very quick. It looks exactly the same as the original DEM in terms of the patterns of the range and altitudes, but of course, if you look at the two layers, you see the ranges, the high, low values have changed accordingly. So the vertical units, the values in the cell are now in feet. Very straightforward. And of course we can combine individual layers in the same way. So if we go to the Raster calculator, I'm going to do something really silly here. I mean, this is just illustrative of the mess that you can make in here. So why would I want to multiply DEM by slope? I might want to do it for some kind of index or something like that, but ArcGIS is no respecter of units, so the DEM is in meters, the slope is in degrees. Multiplying meters altitude by slope in degrees is fairly nonsensical. So I'm just going to call that DEM slope. And so I've input two map layers, and I'm just multiplying them together. And the higher the altitude and the higher the slope, the higher the value. So our mountains are now sticking out very, very strongly, and our flatter areas of the fans and the players are largely disappeared because they're lower altitude and lower slope. Okay, let's do something a little bit more sensible now. Let's look at using the Raster calculator to control our outputs in a logical fashion. So one of the things we might want to do is to simply extract from the slope layer a unique set of values and have everything else set as no data. If we just want to calculate some operations on those units. So I'm going to use the set null function here to isolate the fans and set everything else, the mountains and the players, to no data. So what I can do is I can double click on set null to get open my function, and I can select slope. So this is one of these statements which operates on a true-false basis, and the expression before the comma is the true expression, and the expression behind the comma is the false expression. So I'm going to effectively test whether these expressions are true or false. So if it's true, it does one thing. If it's false, it does another. So set null sets the values in the cells to no data if something is true. If it's false, it does something else. So I've opened set null and I've set slope, and remember we suggested that fans are in the range of about 1 to 10 degrees slope. So I'm going to say if slope, so set null slope greater than 10, then it will set it to no data. Now in the false statement, what I'm going to do actually is something a little bit more clever. Is I'm going to use another set null, so I'm nesting things here. So I'm double click on that, and I'm going to test if slope isn't greater than 10. I'm going to test it again. I'm going to say if slope is less than 1, then what it's going to do then is set those to no data as well. But if it isn't, if it's past these two, or rather it's not past these two tests, it's going to set it to 1. And that's that. So I'm just going to call that fans. So just to run through that again, I've got set null, and I'm testing if slope is greater than 10, it's setting it to a null value, and then I'm setting null again, I'm testing again. If it's less than 1, then I'm setting it to a null value, and if it's failed those two tests, I'm going to set the value to 1, and those will identify your fans. So click OK, and there they are. Rather horrible purple colour, but there we go. That stands out a bit better. So that's just one way of using the raster calculator, and there are many others.